So my name is Skander Gasmi. I'm in charge of the digital trust strategy for Honotel. Honotel Development is a French hospitality company. We own the franchise or the brand HappyCulture. We have reopened 38 of our 38 properties, so that's something we're actually very proud of. In terms of how do we operate with our clients, how do we reassure them? I mean, the key word was flexibility. Be as flexible as possible with the client. It's okay to change your old habits of non-refundable bookings. So we're going all out flexible. You can cancel even on your last day. I think that's quite reassuring for the clients. We've also adopted a new way of dealing with our customer journey. You were mentioning what has changed between today and previous operations. Perhaps today the client gets the chance to organize their stay before they come. They get to pick what they want to eat for breakfast. They get to pick the way the housekeeping is managed within their properties. It's only been a month of us running operations this way, and it's been very insightful in terms of what we can do, how we can adapt, how our properties can adapt, and our business can adapt to these new rules. And perhaps I believe we've been learning. The key word has been for a very long time to personalize the guest journey. We never really knew what it meant to personalize. What is it? Do I greet my guest by their first name? Do I make sure to have a receptionist speaking their native language to greet them in? And we've just realized that the first steps, perhaps in personalizing, is to give them the choice of what we have and let them pick what they want to have within that journey. We picked Clock initially for its APIs. We picked it for its open platform. What we realized later on was that Clock allowed us to do two things. First of all, is be agile. So we have adapted a number of things in our properties during the stay. Perhaps our breakfast is served in room or as takeaway rather than the old breakfast buffet. We managed to, in a matter of 2 days, to transform the online check-in process, the breakfast requirements of each guest, to include it in their check-in in the check-in process. That information, and it's multiple, they get to pick over 8 or 10 different items in the breakfast. We thought it was going to be very heavy from an operational standpoint, having to gather that information, then to actually hand it to the right person, which would prepare the bags and so and such. And we realized that the way we could do it, it takes today a minute for our staff to basically get out the list of items per room, per guest within the property, in order for them to start preparing the breakfast. We have been challenged by our properties. We have been challenged by people working with us on the field who told us, listen, you want to do this, you wanna make it as good as possible, we understand, but make it feasible operationally. We're really glad to see that it takes less than a minute to get that information out of the system. At no point does anyone in our almost 40 properties copy any information. No one takes their choices, or the guest choices, and puts them down, unless of course the guest chose not to do it online. And even in that case, that's where it's actually interesting, is that the online experience and the offline experience actually do match. Because when it comes to check-in, the guest picks what they want for breakfast. It goes in directly into the system. It is saved for their entire stay, and we can get it out any moment we want. The more you own of the digital journey, the better. I believe we have full ownership these days of our guest journey. Quickly before we got here, I was checking the stats. We've had, since the beginning of the month, 7,000 room nights staying in our hotels, and we've had 3,500 clicks on the portal. Now, I don't know our length of stay. I don't know what percentage of our guests yet are doing the online checking. All I know is that I have approximately 50% of my room night logging into the portal, and I had a 40% percentage of return. So from that perspective, the usage we're going to make of it is that it's a better tool to communicate. It's a better and cheaper. Let's say it for what it is. It's a cheaper, more convenient, more structured way of communicating with our clients. The whole purpose is to improve it by the day, every day. So the first steps we took in putting that together was a heat map on your systems, Krasimir. Basically a heat map which would show us where are the guests going, what are they clicking, what are they interested in. Quickly after that, we revamped the page. We only left out what we felt was most interesting to the guests. Now, I don't remember who someone asked earlier, how are the guests reacting to this? We don't know exactly how they're reacting to this, and we didn't know how they were reacting to this. We didn't want to send out a survey asking how did your stay go, how was this and how was that. We simply put a tiny feedback button for those that were interested, and we asked them, how are you feeling in here? And we left out 4 emojis for them to answer, just to get their feedback, just to get their impression. Are they happy? Are they satisfied? Are they sad? That's something we've implemented 2 days ago. We still don't have enough feedback for us to know what usage we're going to be making of this. Again, the one thing that we're taking out of this at Honotel, at HappyCulture, is that first, it's allowed us to move faster than we ever have before. We've spent a year building our own portal prior to doing the digital transition. What took us a year to build, we managed to customize in less than 3 weeks. And again, what we were talking with Nick last week, the managerial decision of telling the guest, hey, you get to choose what you put in your breakfast. You get to choose what we clean in your room and when we come into your room. That management decision would have taken us before perhaps months to set up, to try out, to put together, and then to iterate and correct. We managed to do in a couple of days. So for the time being, we're just getting used to our new tools and the way we're going to be using them in our properties. We're getting a great deal of satisfaction from our operations so far. The way I measure satisfaction is that my phone is not ringing. And since my phone is not ringing, I believe it's going well.